My name is Jane Gypsy with a 6, and today I am covering the missing persons case of Jamie Valdez. Jamie Valdez is a 47-year-old man from Booneville, Arkansas, who went missing on June 9, 2021. Although there are some discrepancies with the official date he went missing, the last day he was seen and the day he did go missing is June 9th. But his wife originally mistook the date as June 10th that she last saw him, and on police reports, the date he went missing is stated as June 17th. This is allegedly due to a miscommunication. I'll get into that a little bit later in the video. The reason I am choosing to cover this case in particular is for two reasons, really. One being, this case kind of fits my little theme, I guess you could say, I have going. My last video was about the Johnny Depp Amber Heard situation, which obviously has a lot to do with male domestic abuse. And the other case that I am working on recording right now also has to do with male domestic violence and abuse. This case, in my opinion, falls into the male domestic abuse category. I don't know all the details. I don't know all the facts. Everything I say in this video is my opinion, my speculation, and my interpretation of the information that I have seen, heard, and read. The second reason why I decided to cover this case, I recently watched an interview with Jamie's sister, Sean, on a YouTube channel that I subscribe to. I will link the interview below. The channel was Progressive Patriot. In the interview, you can really tell how much Sean misses and loves her brother. Recalling Jamie as a child, Sean says that he was very funny, loving, free-spirited, even from a young age. She referred to him as the peacemaker and can't remember fighting with him very much at all growing up. That's even when the five of them shared a bedroom together. So I can imagine that there would be a lot of arguing, but Jamie seemed to be the one who would always be trying to break up the fight, try to get everybody to get along. He was the second youngest out of 5. He had 3 older sisters and 1 younger brother. His older sisters were always playing with him and taking care of him, carrying him around everywhere. Sean says he was very adored and loved as a kid, so much that he didn't learn to walk until a considerably late age because he was always being carried everywhere by his big sisters. She also said that Jamie loves to cook, he loves to grill for the family, he loved having his family over and cooking for them. She also said that even when he came over and she was cooking dinner, he wouldn't just be sitting on the couch, he would be in the kitchen helping her cook or just talking with her while she was cooking. She said that he was as good as a brother can really get. I really recommend that you do go watch that interview and just, really be able to see how loved Jamie is by his family and just how much of an impact his disappearance has had on them. Besides the interview I watched on the Progressive Patriot channel, I also got a lot of this information that you'll hear in today's video from an interview Jamie's wife Anna did, and this interview can be found on Jamie's sister Sean on her YouTube channel. I will play some of it here, but I won't play all of it so that hopefully we can drive some traffic over towards her channel. But I think it's important for you guys to see some of that interview. I do want to also make it clear that Sean said she would never accuse Anna of being responsible for Jamie's disappearance, but she does believe, with good reason I think, that Anna knows more, or possibly even knows what happened. And I totally agree. When Jamie was 4 years old, that's when his parents got divorced. So for the most part, the 5 siblings grew up with a single mother. She did remarry a few times after his older sisters had moved out of the house. I'm not sure if if all of them had, but definitely Sean had moved out. Their mother remarried a man who was an alcoholic and pretty heavy into drugs. And although Sean didn't know it at the time, it is apparently around this time when him and his brother started using meth. At this time, Jamie would have been in his late teens, maybe early 20s. He did seem to be pretty secretive about it because his sisters really had no idea that he had started using as early as his late teens. Although he was using, he was definitely a functional addict, or maybe he was still just a recreational user, but he was the type of person who would work a lot and he would always have multiple jobs at a time. This was especially true when Jamie found out that he was going to be a father. He was super excited to be a father, and at that time when he found out is when he was very serious about getting clean, being able to provide the best life possible for his daughter. And he succeeded at staying clean for a very long time. Jamie loved being a dad, and Sean loved seeing him being a dad. She said that he would just light up. He was so happy, all smiles. He was so good with his daughter, and he wanted to give her the world. As we all know, though, addiction is not simple, and it affects people for their entire life. Sean estimates after about 7 to 9 years is when Jamie started to fall back into drugs. And although his temptations would sometimes get the best of him, he did have a moral struggle and felt bad that he was using drugs and trying to be a good father to his daughter that he loved. He was often checking in and out of rehab because that was a cycle. His daughter's grandmother ended up taking custody, but because she was so fond of Jamie, she did allow him to live in the house with them. So although he didn't have custody of his daughter, he was still there to care for her, provide for her, and be in her life. This is another reason why the family finds Jamie's disappearance to be strange and unusual. It's very out of character because they know that he would never just up and leave his daughter. He would never do this to his siblings either, but his daughter especially. After years of mostly staying clean, he relapsed after his mother's passing, which was very hard on the whole family, as is for mostly anyone. This time, though, when he relapsed, it affected him pretty severely. He lost just about everything and ended up being homeless for about a year, but he checked himself into rehab, and Sean, his sister, actually noticed immediately because Sean and Jamie stayed in contact pretty frequently, and he would respond to her fairly quickly, usually within an hour. They might go like 2 weeks without talking, but they stayed in contact pretty much all the time. So when she noticed that she hadn't heard from Jamie in a while, she became concerned. She made a Facebook post asking if anybody has seen or heard from him, and she said within, I think she said like 20 minutes, somebody had messaged her to let her know that Jamie was in rehab and she probably wouldn't be hearing from him for at least 30 days.
And he did end up checking himself into rehab. In fact, it's kind of funny because I noticed right away that all of a sudden I hadn't heard from him. So I started reaching out and I tagged him and I'm like, hey, has anybody seen my brother Jamie? And like within 20 minutes, I had somebody message me and say, I didn't want to talk about this on Facebook, but I just wanted to let you know that Jamie checked himself into rehab and that's why you're not hearing from him. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And they're like, well, I think it'll be 30 days before he can talk to, anybody on the outside.
Shortly after he gets out is when he met Anna. Either one of them messaged each other on Facebook Messenger and they began talking and started a relationship. But a few months after Jamie and Anna started dating, Sean received a message from Jamie saying that he had to deactivate his Facebook because Anna gets jealous and he didn't want to give her anything to be mad about. not a good sign. Anna would apparently also get upset if she found Jamie talking on the phone with his loved ones. For example, used to regularly talk on the phone with his other sister, and Jamie would always be telling her, "Oh, I have to go, I have to get off the phone, Anna's home from work." He would always have to end the conversation before Anna would come home and catch him talking on the phone with his sister. One time, apparently, she did catch him and she got upset about it. I guess they had an argument. Super red flags. Like, that's, abuser 101, keeping someone away from their family and friends and getting jealous when they spend time with their loved ones. It was also apparent that Anna was not interested in getting to know or becoming close with Jamie's family. The few interactions in person she did have with his family, she was not very present. The one time she went to meet his sister, maybe it was a cousin, but I'm pretty sure it was his sister Nikki. He was introducing her to his new serious girlfriend, Anna. Apparently she was kind of just standing off to the side, not engaging in the conversation. Another time when Jamie's brother came over to help Jamie fix his car, he said that Anna apparently just came out to say hello and then she kind of just disappeared and he didn't see her again for that entire visit. And then on top of that, which I think this is the most extreme example. After Jamie went missing, Anna had contacted his sister Sean to tell her that they found the car at the local water hole. Sean messaged her back and said, "Can I call you? Can we talk on the phone about this? This is serious." It's annoying to text long messages, so she wanted to call and have an actual conversation. But Anna was opposed to this and said, "No, I would rather just message." Kind of strange. Sean thought so too, but she was like, okay. She does say now that she is a bit thankful that Anna did decide to only message because now they have everything in writing. She was able to go back to detect any discrepancies or differences in Anna's initial story. There is a pretty similar circumstance to this in the David Almquist case that I am working on as well. In that case, David's wife didn't want to talk to his parents after his death to explain to them what had happened because obviously the parents wanted to know. It was so bizarre and she was the only one there with him that night, so they wanted to know what happened the night he died. She did not want to tell them. She said she had already told so many people and she didn't feel like talking about it again. And they were like, "Well, we're his parents, like what?" Her and her family got very defensive and it became sort of a thing. David's sister was pretty close to his wife, Emily, at that time, so she was able to convince Emily to sit down and talk with only her and record the conversation as long as she promised to delete the recording after showing it to her parents. When David's family listened to this recording and realized how strange and bizarre her story was, they said, "Fuck that," and recorded the recording for themselves, erased it off the phone, gave the phone back, showed that the recording was erased off the phone, and Emily believed that the recording had been erased. Well, they have that shit, and we have that shit too. We will certainly be listening to that recording in the David Almquist video, but it's just kind of funny because both of these wives in these circumstances were too scared to verbally communicate over the phone or talk in person with the family of their husband. In the end, it kind of ends up biting them in the ass, right? Because now they have recorded evidence of their story, which both have changed over time. Not only is it just so disrespectful and rude, it's just dumb. It would have been way easier to just pick up the phone and have the conversation or talk in person, but it all worked out for the better, so I guess it's good some people just aren't that smart. Another major red flag was when Jamie called his brother crying because Anna had told Jamie he had to stay clean for at least a full year before she would marry him. And yet Jamie had found out that Anna had been using. And not only that, he found her using with one of her exes, which is just disgusting. Obviously, they shouldn't be using at all, but the fact that she is giving him this ultimatum and then does this thing herself, it's hypocritical. And I hate hypocrites. That is one of my top things. That is one of my top behaviors that I really do not like, is hypocritical behaviors. I'm not sure if this happened before or after their marriage. Either way, it's still not good, but I can only imagine how disappointed and angry you would feel finding out that the person who made you promise to stay clean for a whole year in order to marry them had been using. And on top of it, with an ex. So you're making your boyfriend slash to-be husband stay clean to marry you, but you're gonna go do drugs with your ex. Like, that's so fucked up. So obviously he was upset about this. That's why he had called his brother up crying that day. And I don't blame him. I guess Jamie had stayed clean for that first year of dating because they eventually did get married. It was only 3 to 4 weeks after their marriage when Jamie disappeared. Let's talk about this discrepancy with the dates. Jamie did go missing on June 9th, 2021. That was the last day he was seen. Early on, Anna was saying that he went missing on June 10th. I guess her excuse for this is that she got confused and she thought it was the 10th. Eventually, she realized that it actually was the 9th. But even weirder, the police reports state that he went missing on June 17th. The reason for this is on June 19th, 10 days after Jamie disappeared, the car was found in Sugar Grove, Arkansas. The car really had no reason to be there. There was a family home that they used to live in, but there's no reason for him to be over that way. And it is apparently a common area where people go missing because it is very mountainous and secluded. A lot of hunting, a lot of open woods, higher percentages of missing people in that specific town.
See, that Sugar Grove place has got some serious missing problems.
Juju.
Yeah, and it's so remote. I mean, you're in the
guy we
the
ran
mountains.
into downtown.
He mentioned that.
He did.
Yeah.
He said, rumor has it, if you want somebody to disappear,
That's the place to do it.
yeah.
He said because it's hard to find people out there.
Yep.
That's exactly what he said.
He said not even hunters will find him.
So his car was found. Who was it found by? His wife's boss's significant other. Kind of weird. He was driving to the cemetery to visit the grave of a deceased loved one. On the way there, he passed what they call the bluff hole. It's like a local watering hole kind of park area where people will go to hike or take a swim. So as Anna's boss's significant other was driving past this watering hole park area, he happened to see a car parked there with Texas plates. Anna finds out about this. She decides to wait until she gets off of work, until they take her out to see the car at the bluff hole. As far as this whole car situation goes, that's red flag number 1 for me. The fact that Anna waited until she got off work to go look at the car of her missing husband, who she hasn't seen in 10 days. It's like, oh my God. These people just don't help themselves. They're the ones that are making themselves look the most suspicious, and then they turn around and say, "Ugh, everybody's on my back. Everybody is so suspicious of me." Well, it's because you're acting suspicious. Anyways, she goes out to the car. She sees the plate. She realizes it's Jamie's car. It was abandoned. The keys were missing. The driver's seat is pulled all the way up, and eventually they found insurance cards and a few other items from inside the car outside of the vehicle, not too far away, like somewhere kind of in the park area, I think. One of the family members also found a few items that appeared to be items that might have fallen out of his pocket or something along the lines of that. Besides all of that, keys missing, seat pulled up. They also find on the rear window are the words, "Help me, he is near," like on the pollen or the dust, written like with someone's finger. Obviously, that's pretty strange. Anna took a picture of this writing and sent it to Sean. Sean says immediately she got a terrible feeling and she just knew right then that something was wrong. I don't think it was as simple as, the message says, "Help me, he is near." The way I interpreted it, she got a feeling that things might not be as they seem in accordance with her brother's disappearance. That's just how I interpreted the way she told the story. So Sean gets this message from Anna. It's June 19th. Jamie hasn't been seen in 10 days. And Anna asks Sean if she should contact the authorities. Yeah. Again, sort of similar situation in the David Almquist case. It involves a neighbor who sees David's wife running and screaming in the hallway, "Help! Help! Somebody get help!" And she's holding her cell phone in her hand, and the neighbor's like, "Have you called the cops?" And apparently she just kind of stood there like, oh shit. And then she called the cops. So there's just similar minds think alike. I don't think that's how the saying goes, but maybe it should be changed to criminal minds think alike. Allegedly, speculatively, in my opinion. Remember that, YouTube. So Sean's like, yes, we should contact the authorities. And Sean assumed that Anna was going to contact the authorities that day. But being Anna, she decided to contact the authorities the following day. So on the 20th is when Anna filed a missing persons report. It's also when the police went to look at Jamie's abandoned vehicle with the weird written message on the rear window. Like I said, the keys were gone, the seat was pulled all the way up, and Jamie is a 5'9", 200-pound man. He's not going to drive with the seat pulled all the way up like I do when I drive my little sedan and I have the steering wheel pretty much up here and I'm like, the police do take photos of the car, but because they don't see any blood, they don't consider foul play to be a likely circumstance. Another major reason for this belief is because apparently Anna had told the police she believed Jamie was most likely off partying and had left her for another woman. So not only is Jamie a 47-year-old man, and it's hard enough to get police to search for adults as it is, now his wife is admittedly telling them that he's most likely cheating on her and off partying. Most wives, even if they were to believe that, if they haven't seen their husband for 10 days and then they find his car abandoned at a watering hole in a town that he has no reason to be in, they're probably not going to tell police that because they know it would give police a reason to not investigate their husband's disappearance. So to me, it seems like she didn't want them investigating her husband's disappearance. Again, this is all my opinion, speculation, illegibility,
What?
whatever. So it turns out that the writing on the window happened to be done by a couple of young guys playing a prank. They thought that the car belonged to just somebody who was hiking. They thought it would be funny if teenagers do stupid shit. They saw this story on the news and realized their prank was affecting a serious situation, and they had no idea the car belonged to a missing person. They did do the right thing. They told the police what they did, and the police relayed this message to Sean. But not only did they tell her that the writing turned out to just be done by a couple of local pranksters, she was also told by the chief, which I have more to say about him later. He told her that the boys saw that the car was running and somebody was inside of it. This was quite interesting information, and Sean wanted to question the boys about what they had seen. Was it a man? Was it a woman? What did they look like? The chief tells her that she can't talk to them though because they are minors, so I guess he can't give her their identities. Well, she actually was able to track them down. It took about a year, but she did it. And she found out a couple more discrepancies. One of those being that the boys weren't minors. They were over the age of 18 when they had done that. They also told her they did not see the car running or anybody inside of it. That's red flag number 2 with the car situation. Oh wait, red flag number 3. Number 2 was Anna telling the cops that Jamie was probably just off partying. With the car alone, we had 3 major red flags, and there's more. So once the car had been found, I guess it was eventually towed back to Anna's house. It had been sitting on her property for 2 weeks before law enforcement came out to investigate the vehicle. They didn't take fingerprints. They didn't look for DNA. Whatever law enforcement does with investigating abandoned vehicles of missing people, they waited 2 weeks to do. And they probably wouldn't have done it at all if Sean didn't keep calling and asking. The final time she had asked about it, she was told because it had already been 2 weeks, any fingerprints or DNA, any evidence found within the car would be inadmissible in court, because anyone by now could have been driving it and touching it or moving things in the vehicle. So it didn't really matter what they would find. So it was just like, well, what the fuck? Why didn't you come sooner? Just one of many instances where the police dropped the ball. Obviously, she was highly disappointed, but she wanted them to do it anyways. On the day, law enforcement did go out there to get fingerprints and perform whatever testing and investigating on the vehicle. It's the same day Anna had a buyer come to her house to buy the car for parts. Obviously, this was a total coincidence. The buyer was apparently an associate of, again, Anna's boss's significant other. It had only been 2 weeks since the car was found, 3 weeks since Jamie went missing, and she was trying to sell it for parts. The buyer was literally there when law enforcement showed up to investigate it. That should count for like 5 red flags. In Anna's interview, the interviewer asked her if they had come to look at the house. This was about 3 months after Jamie's disappearance. Anna says no, they only came by to take our phone. They looked at her phone and Jamie's old cell phone, which Anna was using that phone. We know for a fact she was able to log into Jamie's Facebook before and after his disappearance. There's a very strange part surrounding the whole logging into Jamie's Facebook in the interview that I definitely want to play for you, because it's not a good look. I'll put it like that. 3 months, the police still hadn't gone to process or investigate the home that Jamie was living in at the time of his disappearance. It still has not been processed. And we know that the house has new flooring. I just thought that was a little suspicious. I don't know, it might be a coincidence, but it's just like the totality of evidence. If it was just one of these things, okay, I guess, but like all of these things. Also, I think one of the most suspicious things is when Jamie went missing, Anna was telling people that he told her that he was going to Ozarks to visit his daughter. That's what she told people. Remember, when the car was found, she told police, though, that she thought he left her for another woman and he was partying. But he didn't take his car. He just abandoned it at the waterhole. No. If that were true, he would have at least called his family and his sister to let them know that he was safe. Secondly, though, on the 17th, 2 days before the car was found, and it also happens to be the day police reports have as the actual day Jamie went missing, Sean noticed that her last Facebook message she sent to Jamie had been marked as read. Until the 17th, it had been left unread. That raised her attention. Then she noticed the information on Jamie's profile had been changed. It now had his current address or his current city as Ozark, the same place that she happened to be telling people that he had told her he was running off to. When Anna was confronted with this, she said her sickly elderly mother had gotten into Jamie's Facebook and changed his information. That doesn't make any sense at all. Even if so, like, that doesn't even make Anna look any less guilty. It's her mother. Like, so you asked your mother to do that, or your mother did it for you because she wants to cover for her daughter. She's worried that her daughter's going to get in trouble, so she went ahead to make it look like Jamie was active on Facebook, or he was actually in the Ozarks where her daughter was telling everybody he was. I don't know. Either way, super suspicious. And then not only this, but Sean also comes to find out from Anna herself, by the way, the chief, who voluntarily put himself on Jamie's case as the lead investigator, has a childhood connection to Anna, Jamie's wife. Conflict of interest? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I would think so, especially because he voluntarily put himself over the case. And we're seeing not a lot of pressure being put on Anna, and it's nothing personal. Well, maybe a little bit. Usually when someone goes missing, the first person you check off or look into is the spouse, closest family member, but certainly the spouse, husband, wife, partner, whoever it is, that is the first person that you look into and, just check off your list. And they really have not done much to investigate her and find out if she has any knowledge of his disappearance, what happened. Apparently, as a teenager, Anna was best friends with the chief's older sister. She is significantly older than him. The chief at the time was 9 years old. She was 18 and had gone to live with her best friend. She lived there for about a year. So they lived in the same household together. They went on vacations together. I mean, she was best friends with his older sister. She did move out of Booneville, Arkansas for a while and really didn't come back, I don't think, until she started dating Jamie. Still, I would think that there would still be a little bias there, being your older sister's best friend who lived with you for an entire year when you were a child. Again, totality of evidence. It's stacking up pretty quickly and pretty high. I think it's fair to say something suspicious is going on here. For the final part of this video, I'm going to show you a few clips from the interview Jamie's wife Anna did, and I'm just going to show you the parts that I thought were the most interesting, or eyebrow raising, maybe is a good way to put it.
So I know this is hard to talk about, But the first thing I want you to do is just tell me who you are and who Jamie is to you.
I'm Anna Valdez. Jamie's my husband.
She looks annoyed to me. She doesn't look sad. She looks kind of annoyed. And now I know grief affects everybody differently, so I'm not really trying to judge. I'm just pointing something out.
And what is the story with Jamie today? What is going on?
I'm missing June 10th. He hasn't come back.
Well, that's really helpful. That's a lot of really helpful information. Thank you. Seems like you're really trying to give us as many details and information as possible so that we can find him, right? I don't know. Am I being too harsh?
When did you notice that he was missing? Was it June 10th? And how did that come about? Did you see him on June 10th?
I got called into work. We were home. Just brought my mom home from the hospital. He was mad that I got called in.
And so he came in on June 10th to your work, right? What time was that?
2 o'clock maybe.
Okay.
2:30.
And he said, what did he say?
He said, can I just go home?
What'd you tell him?
I said, Jamie, I'm at work. Do what you want to do.
I'm a little confused. She's saying that Jamie was mad that she got called into work because they're supposed to spend the day together. So why is it that he then comes to work with you and is asking you if he can go home? To me, that sounds like she was mad that she got called into work and she wanted to spend the day with him. So she asked him to come to work with her that day. And he was like, what the fuck am I doing here? Can I go home? But I don't know. That's just me trying to make sense out of something that doesn't make sense.
And was there anything to show that he did go home?
Home and got some clothes.
Apparently, according to Anna's mother, who was at home that day, she says that Jamie came home after leaving Anna's work and having a visible argument in front of coworkers, I guess, outside of the store or in the front of the store. Apparently, they had a pretty bad fight at her work, and he allegedly then drives back home, runs inside, packs some clothes up, takes $600, gets in his vehicle, and is never seen again. And that is the story we have been told. I don't know why she is being so tight-lipped with the details here in this interview. Maybe that's because some of these alleged details are just that, alleged. And these are some comments from a year ago in the Jamie Valdez Facebook group. When you see Anna's name, that is Anna, Jamie's wife. She is no longer a member of the group. The original post, I believe, is asking about if they took fingerprints from the car when it was found. The thread is kind of discussing the investigation. I just wanted to read this. So Anna says, all I know is what I do. The last time I saw him was when I got called into work. To think that will be the last time I see him, I don't even have words to describe how that feels. The last words I told him was to do what you want to do. I don't dictate what people do in their lives, but I guess I should have told him to go home. He's grown though. I don't feel I should have to tell a grown-up what they should and shouldn't do. They should just know. kind of interesting. And then when you see the name Sean, that is Jamie's sister. So she replies, I'm not positive about this, but I believe he did go back to the house to pick up more clothes and the $600. If so, Anna's mother and brother and his kiddos may have been there? Question mark. Like I said, I'm not positive on that because I wasn't there. So next, there's a few other members in the thread that are commenting along, asking questions. Anna replies to Sean, they was there, all of them, my niece's brother and mother were all there. They know what happened before I went to work and when he went back to the house. So, and then a member replies, and how did he seem to them when they saw him? Tagging Anna to ask her the question. Mad or what? What did he say to them? Did law enforcement question them and get very specific details on his demeanor and every word he said? And there has not been a reply, and Anna is no longer a member of the group. So, and this is something I have been very curious about myself. I never hear anything about what happened, what he was like, how long he was there, any details about that.
So he goes home sometime after 2 o'clock, gets his clothes, and then leaves. No phone call, no text, nothing?
It was a Thursday.
Thursday. Okay.
Some last words I said.
When did you start to get concerned? Were you texting him? Were you calling him at all?
Yeah. I still have the messages.
But he mentioned Ozark, correct? How long before did he mention that?
When he left the first time, before he came to my job, he said he was going to Ozark. One of the times he left before, though, he said he had a friend there that had a red barn that he stayed in.
A red barn? Come on, you couldn't use like a little bit of creativity? I feel like that's like one of those slip ups where like she might have just meant to say his friend has a barn down there that he stayed in, but your brain automatically associates barns with red. So it was just like a slip up, like red barn. Oh, okay, well, that's what I'm going with now. I don't know. Maybe he did stay in a red barn. The red part just sent me a red flag. No pun intended. It's just like, how less original can you get than a red barn out in the country?
When did you decide to contact the police?
They took me to the car the 19th.
The police did?
My boss's husband, boyfriend, I don't know if they're married. He said, he came up to me, I was at work. He came up to me and said, I think I know where your car is. I said, what? He said it has Texas tags, right? I said, yeah. How many Texas tags are here? I knew it had to be.
And so you guys went there.
When I got off work, they took me.
But you probably couldn't drive because you were so upset.
I was frantic.
Yeah.
So frantic. You waited till you got off work before going to the abandoned car of your missing husband of 10 days.
Well, what was your thought when you pulled up to that location? What was the first thought?
I knew it was ours.
Mm-hmm.
I hadn't seen the seat. I hadn't seen anything but the tags. And I knew.
Wow. That's really great detective work. You saw the license plate and you just knew it was your car. How does one recognize their car only by seeing the license plate? And she just knew right away. Truly amazing instincts.
Had he ever been known to camp? Like, was he the type of person, you know how like some people will
Just
go
go
off grid?
stay out in the woods.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, like some men will like just like go live off the land, or you know.
Not
But
that kind
not
of person.
him. Not he wasn't that.
Honestly, I didn't ask questions about his past.
Yeah.
I loved him for who he was then,
Mhm.
not 20 years ago.
All right.
I don't know, maybe this is just me, but that tells me that you aren't really interested in getting to know this person. Your past is what makes you who you are. You can get to know how somebody became the person they are today. And I'm not saying your past defines you by any means, but to not ask questions like, don't you want to know about this person you're marrying? I don't know, maybe that's just me.
Tell me about the seat. What was
That was the first thing I seen. It was all the way up. I knew right then that he didn't drive the car. He couldn't have.
who? I'm trying to think.
Yes, who could we possibly think of that is smaller than Jamie who would drive his car to the bluff hole and abandon it? I wonder.
How do you feel about the police? What was the police's response when? So you end up calling the police ultimately, right?
I went down there.
You went down to the police department and you spoke with.
Yeah, the following day, after you were so frantic and you had to call his sister because you weren't sure if you should even contact the authorities in the first place.
So really, there's no reason for. I mean, yeah, people have arguments. You know, that's just part of a relationship. But there's no reason for him to just stay gone forever.
No. That's why I'm so. It doesn't make sense. Because I went to work.
Mm-hmm.
No, people don't do that. Adults have to work, you know?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Right.
There's so many things that I wish I would have done different.
Yeah.
I wish those wouldn't have been my last words to him. I wish I wouldn't have went to work. I wish I wouldn't have moved back here.
Yeah.
I wish so many things. He might still be here. Sitting beside me. Going to the store with me.
Are you getting any kind of cooperation from the police department?
They don't tell me anything.
Do you go ask them?
I've asked them so many times for a police report. I still don't have one.
Why?
Like, do I ask the right questions? I don't know. I've never done this before. I don't know how to do this.
It's not an everyday common thing that your husband or loved one goes missing. I often find this excuse being used by people who had to do with a loved one's disappearance and are playing it off as the widow or the victim. I'm not saying that's what she is. I'm just saying that is an excuse I hear because they're typically questioned. Why didn't you call the police right away? Why didn't you do this? Why did you do that? It's suspicious. And this is often their excuse. I've never done this before. I don't know how to do this. Well, that's because it's not normal for someone to just up and disappear without a trace.
Nobody does.
And I hope
Don't
they
follow
never do.
yourself.
And did they come out? Did they come to your house at all?
They have here recently.
And what were their recently, but not then? Didn't come there at all. So they waited, what, 3 months almost?
They came and picked up my phones
They took the phones?
and his phone
Why?
that day. I don't know, I guess to go through them, see what,
I mean, I could understand his phone for sure.
see if there was any kind of, I don't know,
Like maybe to see who
Something
he was
back and forth.
messaging, like to lead them.
Yeah, probably just looking to see if he.
Yeah,
Had
who he had
messaged somebody.
connected with. Like maybe there'd be a possibility of where he went.
Any, do you have access to his social media? Like Facebook or anything? You have access to get into it? Have you gotten into it?
my mom did once, yeah.
Okay. Just to see if there was any messages coming in from anybody else, were there?
I don't Like, I don't get in it anymore because I don't know.
Right.
It's just really hard.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do or when to do it. I'm scared to do anything. And I don't want to mess anything up, you know. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've already been through that once.
Yeah.
If he does get on there, I want it to be him, you know.
Yeah. Do you check it regularly to see if?
Like through your own.
I'm using his phone right now. So notifications do pop up all the time. All the time.
Like messages from people and stuff?
Tags, messages, all kinds of stuff. But I can't open it.
Again, this might just be me, but I feel like that was a little dig almost. This is the strange part I referenced earlier in regards to Anna using Jamie's old phone and going into his Facebook. If you remember, on the 17th is when Sean noticed her last message to Jamie had been seen, and it's the same day that his current city information on Facebook had been updated to Ozark. So I think when she says here in this interview, I've been there once before, I can't do that again, she must be referencing Sean or one of Jamie's family members confronting her about going into his Facebook and changing his information. So I feel like she's almost blaming this confrontation for being the reason she now refuses to go into his phone to look at messages or maybe any other relevant information. Now, none of it might be relevant, but it's definitely worth checking, and checking messages is certainly different than literally changing his profile information to the town that you have told everybody he told you he was going to. That is not the same. And there is a way of doing this without making people believe Jamie is active on social media. You could, one, simply warn them, hey, I'm going on Jamie's Facebook to see the messages that he's received, or two, ask the police to do it. I don't know, it's weird. This part really stood out to me. Also, it stuck out to me that she said she's scared to do anything on his phone. Like, obviously nobody wants to be accused of their husband's disappearance, but I don't know, it just stood out to me.
I'm curious as to why the police didn't say, we're going to go, track everywhere that phone has been. Just to see where he may have went within the days prior to. Has he ever been up to that hill at someone's house?
This was his old phone, though. It wasn't
Okay.
like his recent phone.
Okay.
He had his iPhone he has, or somebody has.
So he did have an iPhone when he left.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever tried to do the find a phone thing? Are you on the same plan?
Yes.
Would you?
But I don't know how to do anything.
I can teach you. If you'd be willing to try it, even if it's off. It would.
Absolutely.
It'll tell us right where that phone is at.
No. Yeah.
Even if it's off.
Yeah.
We can trace it. We can track the phone, and if the phone is like, if it's completely just busted or broken somewhere, it'll tell us the last known location it was. So
Okay.
there's a start.
That'll give us some hope.
If it was up on the hill, then we'll know it was up on the hill. If it was here, we'll know. If it was at your house and it stopped there,
Chills.
then we'll know. But you can do that on the iPhone. Has that, you can track it. You can track your phone, because if I lost my phone out in the woods, we could go find it.
Like, I knew it had fun, but I didn't know how to. Like, I don't know how to do it.
It's pretty easy. Do you have a computer?
Yes.
Okay. You can do it from a computer, or you can take it into a Verizon store. Or your Verizon or AT&T? Cricket. Okay. You can take it right in and say, hey, I need, or Apple stores. I need to find out where this other phone is. Here was the number to it. And if you had like the serial numbers or anything like that on anything, or they could probably get those serial numbers.
She doesn't look very happy or excited about this information, does she? She started moving around a bit, did a big swallow, nervous gulp. She looks a little worried about something. I wonder what she's thinking about. I'm going to replay some of this real quick.
Right where that phone is at.
No. Yeah.
Even if it's off.
Yeah.
We can trace it. We can track the phone. And if the phone is like, If it's completely just busted or broken somewhere, it'll tell us the last known location it was. So
Okay.
there's a start.
That'll give us some hope.
You know, I mean, if it was up on the hill, then we'll know it was up on the hill. If it was here, we'll know. If it was at your house and it stopped there, then we'll know. But you can do that on the iPhone. Has that, you can track it. You can track it for Apple stores. I need to find out where this other phone is. Here was the number to it. Apple stores. I need to find out where this other phone is. Here was the number to it. So John was potentially a person that said he saw Tom Reed and Jamie walking on the road between where the car was found and Tom Reed's house. At nighttime, Jamie had clothes in his arms and Tom had a flashlight in front of him. Have you heard that at all?
Who said that?
John Farley.
No.
So
How do I not know that?
that's how that Tom Reed's guy's name come up. So it's, you know, did the police do any kind of fingerprints or anything on the car? How long did they have it?
A day?
A day. They took it for 1 day and then gave it back to you?
Well, they had it towed to certified and put a hold on it. And yeah, they didn't make me show proof that it was mine or anything. They just dumped it out in my yard.
With a tow truck? Just dropped it off in your yard and said, here it is. Did they give you any paperwork?
They didn't give me anything.
Nothing. Okay, they're dropping the ball.
I was at
Big
work.
time.
Like, I wasn't even there.
You didn't even know they were bringing it back?
My mom was there. And they said something about something under the hood.
There's something under the hood that she's referring to is apparently a few things under the vehicle's hood were disconnected as to disable the vehicle, which is also pretty shady. It definitely seems the car was set up there as bait or possibly a distraction, or, you know, they just needed to get rid of the car. There's also a rip on the seat, which I also think is strange. Was there blood that got on the seat? And they needed to rip that piece of fabric off. But it definitely seems like someone purposely dumped the car there, in my opinion.
When I was interviewing one of the officers, he said that you were pulled over in the car recently. Can you tell me where?
At the store.
Why'd you get pulled over?
He said I hit the fog line.
Okay.
The what?
The white line.
Yeah. So, and then did they give you a ticket or anything?
No.
Nothing.
Do you
Did
feel
they
like-
ask where Jamie was?
He said something about, you know, why I pulled you over. I said, no, not really. Like, I was going the speed limit. See, I thought I was doing everything right. He said I hit the fog line. He said also the car came back registered to James Valdez, and we have a James Valdez missing. So that's my husband. But he searched the car, searched us, and that was it.
Who's us?
They searched the car?
Yeah.
Did they have probable cause?
What were they looking
I
for?
mean, I don't
Say,
know.
looking for drugs, probably.
I don't know.
That's what they usually look for whenever they want to search a car, or weapons.
But
But why?
Because they want to just look.
Yeah, that's fine. I just went grocery
I know,
shopping, but
Yeah.
but it's weird.
yeah, I don't know the reasoning for anything anymore. This is all so confusing.
Me either.
So you said they searched us. Who's the other person?
Clayton.
Clayton. Is that the guy I met at the store?
Mhm.
Okay. Who's he?
It's just a friend.
Just a friend.
If it wasn't for YouTube copyright issues, you guys know what song I'd be playing right now.
We've been friends for a long time.
Does he know Jamie?
He knows of Jamie.
They're not buddies.
Most people knew Daniel.
Okay.
That's what I've heard. That's what I've heard.
Where's the vehicle now?
Mm.
Did you sell it?
Did you guys see that? Here, if you didn't catch it, I'll show you again.
Did you sell it? Did you sell it?
She's straight up smiling. Most people don't smile because they can't afford to keep their missing husband's abandoned vehicle, but some people do smile when they know they've been caught doing something bad, such as like a toddler who gets caught, you know, covering the entire bathroom with shaving cream, or they painted their whole face with nail polish or something. Maybe they ate the whole jar of cookies. They know they shouldn't have, and then mom comes in and finds out. Usually they have this evil little grin about them. That's what I'm seeing here. It is just very suspicious. And why does she not want to answer? If she can't pay for it, she can't pay for it, and the car's just gonna sit there. Why can't she just say that? Because she knows it's suspicious and she might have a guilty conscience. I have no idea. I don't know if she had anything to do with this or not, and I'm sorry if she didn't. I'm just pointing out strange behaviors that I've noticed and what I see.
Couldn't pay for it. You get repoed? By the bank or towing company or
By the loan company.
the loan company? Do you know where it went?
Clearwater, Florida.
Florida? Oh my gosh. When did they do that?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks? When were you pulled over in it?
No, it wasn't. I never drove that car.
Oh, you never drove
I
it?
never had a key.
There
was only one key. Jamie had it
Oh. Well, what vehicle did you guys get pulled over in?
in my truck.
Oh, in your truck.
Oh,
But that truck's
okay.
registered to him?
To both of us.
That one out there? Okay. So that's registered to both of you guys. Okay.
The car was in my name.
Okay.
I would have been driving that had I had a key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was his.
Okay. What would you like to see happen at all this?
To walk through the door right now.
And just say,
I don't even want to know. I don't.
Don't even have
just to see his face would be enough.
what would you say to him if he walked in the door right now?
I don't think I would have words.
How would you feel? Happy? Sad? Mix?
I want him home. I want to see him. I want to know he's okay.
If you were to give a message to him, if you were to say, hey, because he may see this, you can say whatever you want. You don't have to filter yourself. Just anything you want to say to him, just go ahead and say it. And we're going to pray that he sees it.
I just want him to know I love him. His family, myself, his daughter. We need to know he's okay.
Well, you're doing the right thing by doing this. I appreciate it, and I know that someone could potentially.
I mean,
There's
what if
phones
he's in
everywhere.
There are
Florida?
phones. There are phones. Why hasn't he picked up the phone and called? Do you suspect any foul play on anybody's behalf? Was he beefing with anybody? Owe anybody money? Anybody owe him money?
I don't know what he did when he left. I didn't ask.
Yeah.
I don't know that I wanted to know. But he was home. That's what I cared about. Another regret of mine. I didn't ask questions. That's why it's so confusing.
It's like,
The day we got married, he was so excited.
Had you ever been married before? No.
So I can't
Who was
see him
first?
34 days later. He's just gone.
Yeah, it doesn't add up. It doesn't add
I
up.
mean, and like she said, he was so excited, so it wasn't like cold feet.
He was so
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my head around it.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to.
What was he wearing the last day you saw him?
I remember his black plaid shorts.
I can't remember what kind of shirt. Has the news contacted you? No, not at all. Have you tried to contact them? No? Would you be willing to talk to him to get some more information out there? You know, kind of like what we're doing. They're a much quicker story, I'll tell you that.
This was a huge leap for me.
Yeah.
Why is she so hesitant to contact the news? I mean, I guess it can be nerve-wracking going on the news, but you don't particularly have to actually go on there. Just ask them to get the story out or do an interview where they don't show your face. Maybe they just read a few lines. With these things, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So you might as well try to spread the word a little bit at least. Unless she doesn't want the word out, there is a reward.
Getting out there and, you know, and we'd be willing to do it alongside you and speak on your behalf
Absolutely.
as your basically
would.
your public information person, you know.
Yes.
And we've done this before. Get the sheriff's office or the local city police. We can organize a press conference where the news shows up. Basically, you just stand there and we'll speak on your behalf and say, hey, listen,
Hold your hand.
getting the word out there to different media outlets and try to get them to start covering this.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do an interview with them, that's fine. If you're okay with it, I'd just give them a couple clips of what you said, you know, and just say, here, use this and put it out there. She, you know, like a small town police department
That's crazy.
didn't know what to do. And
It seems like they would know what to do here, though, because it happens.
but they just
how
don't.
many do they solve? Like, do they usually
One
find
that
them?
I know of. He was
See?
in California.
See? That's
That Farina girl is still. She's still gone.
What's the story with that? I've heard that. They're coming up in all this. Like, oh, there's
All
another
I know
she's
is
missing.
that she was last seen in Sugar Grove.
in Sugar Grove. See, that Sugar Grove place has got some serious missing problems.
Juju.
Yeah. And it's so remote. I mean, you're in the.
That guy we
The
ran
mountains.
into downtown.
He mentioned that.
He did.
Yeah.
He said, rumor has it, if you want somebody to disappear,
That's
Go to
the place to do it.
yeah.
He said, because it's hard to find people out there.
Yep.
That's exactly what he said.
He said not even hunters will find him.
Well, we can organize searches.
That's probably not what I wanted to hear.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean.
I might just be crazy, but I swear I'm seeing these micro expressions like more smiles. I don't know, I might be hallucinating, but I swear I can see the muscles around her mouth going upwards in a smile position, and then immediately after, a clear, disgusted expression or confused, sad, angry expression right afterwards to maybe to cover up. I don't know. You tell me what you guys think. Am I reading into this? I'm gonna play it again for you guys in slow motion.
If you want somebody to disappear,
That's the place to do it.
yeah.
He said, because it's hard to find people out there. That's exactly what he said.
He said not even hunters will find him.
People out there. That's exactly what he said.
He said not even hunters will find him.
Well, we can organize searches.
That's probably not what I wanted to hear.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean.
We can organize searches to go look and play. And we can help you do the phone thing. You know, if you're game to do that. I don't know what you're doing the rest of the day, but we're not here
But till tomorrow morning.
I know. I wish
Huh?
we were
Homework?
having-
Homework and taking care of my mom. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Bless her heart.
You
How's
know-
she doing?
Is there anything else you want to say?
I have a lot of what ifs, or why, or I
Just
mean, I
a
have
million questions.
a million questions, but does anybody have any?
So there you have it, Jamie's wife's interview. This was taken about 3 months after his disappearance. You can find the full interview on Sean's YouTube page, which I will link in the description box. I will also have the Find Jamie Valdez Facebook page link in the description box, as well as anything else I mentioned in this video. So yeah, that is the Jamie Valdez case. I do consider this domestic abuse. The control with the Facebook, getting angry for him talking with his family, keeping him away from his family. These are early signs of domestic abuse. And unfortunately, lots of men won't even realize that they're in abusive relationships because men don't often think about being a victim of domestic abuse. It's not always something they are taught to even be aware of, so they might not look out for the signs until it gets to the point where it's so bad, you're already so deep in it. From the outside, it may seem easy to just be like, why don't you just leave? But for various reasons, it's not always that simple. I'm sure you guys are human beings watching this. There might be a few, canines or felines whose owners are at work and they just left the YouTube autoplay function on for background noise. But for you humans that are watching this, I'm sure you understand that life circumstances aren't always just so simple as just leave. Please go check out their Facebook page, their YouTubes, the interview, spread the information, find Jamie Valdez.